Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Today, Wednesday, the 30th of June, the Ministry of Health and Wellness received confirmation of 4 new cases of COVID-19 from a batch of 265 samples. The contact tracing for these new cases is underway. Confirmation was also received of the recovery of 5 individuals, bringing the total number of active cases to 86. Presently, 2 of the active cases are requiring critical care at the respiratory hospital. The new cases bring the total number of cases diagnosed in country to date to 5,296. As of Tuesday, the 29th of June, St. Lucia records the administration of 30,815 first doses and 21,956 second doses of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. The Assistant Principal Nursing Officer and Immunization Manager, Tekla Jabatis, says COVID-19 for over 15 months continues to impact globally, affecting lives and livelihoods. Noting continued vaccination hesitancy, she stresses that vaccines play a critical role in providing that added level of protection, preventing deaths and hospitalization from the severe form of infectious diseases.
Failure to vaccinate widely enables continued circulation of the virus and the generation of variants. As economies slowly reopen and restrictions are lowered, the risk for importation of COVID-19 cases and variants become high. Therefore, the need to be vaccinated becomes increasingly important. Further, widespread vaccination contributes to fewer people being ill and having to be hospitalized, thus reducing the COVID-19 burden on the healthcare system. In addition, it will allow for the return of normal social functioning and reopening of the economy.
Reports of adverse events continue to generate a level of concern and hesitancy towards the vaccine. The Ministry of Health and Wellness says it remains committed to ensuring that its monitoring system is robust and that processes are in place to address any untoward events that may occur relating to vaccines.
The safety of our population is priority. Hence the reason why only vaccines that are pre-qualified for use by the World Health Organization will be offered to the citizenry. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is responding to the call for options of the COVID-19 vaccines. Progress is being made towards the procurement of other COVID-19 vaccines to be included in the routine program.
Jabatis has also addressed concerns surrounding the expiring of batches of vaccines.
Like any other drug or product, vaccines have an expiration date. That is, the last day on which a product can be used. Vaccines cost a lot and are also in limited supply, especially at this stage of this pandemic. COVID-19 vaccines also have a short shelf life, in most cases approximately 6 months. In light of this, the Ministry of Health and Wellness ensures that vaccines logistics are planned carefully to avoid or reduce wastage of vaccines, and as such, do not have any doses of the expiring batch of vaccines at its central stores.
The ministry notes the highest uptake of the vaccine is among the over 50 years age group, followed by those 25 to 49 years, then 18 to 24 years. Jabatis says young adults are less clinically affected by COVID-19 infection, and as such, they may see limited value in getting vaccinated. Some people who have had the coronavirus vaccine have said they have since had a heavier or delayed period. But experts say this is nothing to worry about, as our immune system affects sex hormones in our body. BBC Newsbeat put some of the big questions around COVID-19 vaccines and periods to Dr. Vicky Mayo, reproductive immunologist at Imperial College London. One of the questions asked was, can the COVID-19 jab change one's period?
So the answer to this is we don't actually know for sure yet, But lots of people have been reporting this, and the main things that people have been reporting are having a heavier period than usual or having a slightly delayed period. We do know that there are other vaccines where there are short-term changes to periods that may happen after you've had the vaccine. We know for those that the change only happens for 1 or 2 cycles.
Dr. Mail explained why vaccines might impact menstruation.
First of all, we know that the immune system affects sex hormones, and sex hormones affect the immune system. And of course, it's your sex hormones that are running your periods. So if we give your immune system a big shock, whether we're giving it to you via, a vaccine or because you've actually got infected, you might see changes in those hormones, which will change perhaps when or how you bleed. The other possibility is you do have lots and lots of immune cells in the lining of your uterus, and this is actually what I work on. And one possibility is that these could be affected by the sort of general activation of your immune system that happens as part of a vaccination or a general illness, and that could affect your cycle.
The medical professional also spoke on whether there are any long-term concerns about reproductive health when it comes to the COVID-19 vaccine.
No, those people who are reporting these changes to their periods are saying that they happen for 1 month. Some people say they happen for 2 months. The other reason that people are a little bit worried about this is they think, oh, if my period's changed, maybe there's a problem potentially down the line with my fertility. But we actually know from these other vaccines that cause short-term changes to your periods that there is no effect on fertility.
That was Dr. Vicky Mail, reproductive immunologist at Imperial College London, speaking with the BBC. The attorney at law representing the Ayanola Council for the Advancement of Rastafari, ICA, in the constitutional motion against the government on the use of cannabis for religious purposes is preparing for his day in court. David Moyston says the case is down to be heard in August.
For the 3rd of August and is scheduled to run until the 6th of August in the High Court to determine whether or not the law as regards cannabis as exists now in St. Lucia is constitutional. That is it legal? Is it in accord with the supreme law of the land? The court is being asked by all the claimants, which also includes 2 other persons, to determine whether or not this law, the Drugs Act in respect of cannabis, is lawful.
A constitutional claim was also brought against the state and filed on behalf of ICA by Emerson Nurse and Melanie Freitas. The 2 were arrested and detained in late 2020 for cultivation and possession of cannabis. The claim alleges infringement of their rights during their stay at custody suites. Moyston says while the 2 informed authorities that they were vegetarians, they were still served meals contrary to their dietary requirements.
The claimants are maintaining it has breached their constitutional rights, their fundamental rights guaranteed to all the citizens of St. Lucia. Freedom of religion being of great importance in this matter, the right to privacy being the second most important, and also very important in respect of Mr. Nurse and Ms. Fritz, the question of whether or not the government of St. Lucia treated them in a cruel and inhuman manner whilst they were incarcerated for 4 days prior to being able to fulfill their conditions of bail.
That was attorney at law David Moyston. St. Lucian swimmer and Springfield College student Michaeli Charmaine will represent St. Lucia in the 2021 Tokyo Olympic Games. She competed in the women's 100-meter freestyle event at the 2017 World Aquatics Championships. In 2019, she represented St. Lucia at the 2019 World Aquatics Championships held in South Korea. She competed in the women's 50-meter butterfly and women's 100-meter freestyle events. WWLP 22 News, an affiliate of NBC, recently put a spotlight on the 18-year-old. Let's take a look.
Springfield College swimmer will be among several Western Massachusetts athletes competing next month in the Summer Olympics. Today, 22 News spoke with this swimming superstar in her native country and found out how she's preparing for Tokyo.
I'm just excited to represent my country at the Olympics this summer.
At only 18 years old, Michaeli Charlemagne will represent St. Lucia, the Caribbean island, at the 2021 Summer Olympics in Tokyo.
I'm very excited. I'm trying to process it. Every time I think about it, I get super excited and nervous at the same time.
Her days of swimming go back to preschool, where she learned how to swim in St. Lucia at just 2 years old. By the age of 9, she was swimming competitively, and the love of the sport just kept growing.
I remember when I first started swimming, I was very excited. I loved the water. I was that kid in practice that never paid attention. My head would always be under the water, and I've always loved watching the Olympic Games, so I'd always try to imitate that.
This is where Michaeli has swam many laps at Springfield College. She said her favorite strokes are the freestyle and the butterfly. And I found out from her coach and her teammates just how good she is.
She would definitely be the one that we'd put in the fast lane, that's for sure. And she was really pretty untouchable in both the 50 free, the 100 free, the 100 fly, 50 fly, wherever we put her, you could really count on her to fighting for first, if not way ahead and in first.
Her coach, John Tafe, talked about her drive to be the best, both in the water and in the classroom, where she has earned a 4.0 GPA. He and the rest of the team can't wait to watch her compete in Tokyo.
It's going to be amazing to see her up there. I know we're all going to tune in, cheer her on, yell at our TVs.
And you'll be able to tune in and watch Michaeli swim against the best of the world when the Olympics kicks off right here on 22 News in less than a month.
SLP Micoud North candidate Jeremiah Norbert had reason to celebrate on Wednesday as he received his prosthetic leg.
Yeah? You're faster?
The SLP candidate lost his leg in a tragic motorcycle accident back in February. His hopes have been high and he says he's confident of clinching a win for the Micoud North seat. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. There's more news after the break.